The sun was a distant bright point in the thin Martian sky. It cast a sharp light across the rusty landscape. From this vantage point, the colony looked like a collection of giant glowing bubbles. These were the domes of Ares Prime. They were made of a transparent, super-strong material. Inside, life was thriving in a way Mars had never seen. Trees with green leaves reached up towards the curved ceilings. Rows of crops, bursting with color, grew in carefully tended soil. It was Earth, recreated millions of miles away from home. The domes were humanity's promise to itself. We could build a garden anywhere, even here. Each dome was a self-contained world. The air inside was clean and breathable, a miracle of engineering. Walkways wound through the miniature forests and fields. You could see colonists walking, talking, and enjoying the green space. It was a refuge from the harsh reality outside. The light filtering through the dome roof was soft, unlike the unfiltered glare of the Martian surface. It felt safe. It felt like home. This wasn't just a scientific outpost anymore. This was a town. People lived here. They raised families here. They were building a future, one carefully planted seed at a time. The domes represented the heart of the colony. They were the reason everyone worked so hard. Inside was everything that mattered: air, water, food, and community. The technology that kept them running was invisible, but constant. Air recyclers hummed quietly. Water purifiers worked day and night. Automated systems monitored temperature and humidity with perfect precision. It was a delicate balance, a symphony of machines and biology working together. The colonists trusted their lives to this system, and the system had never failed them. It was a testament to the smartest minds back on Earth and right here on Mars. From outside, the view was even more spectacular. The sun's rays created brilliant lens flares as they hit the curved surfaces of the domes. Long, dark shadows stretched out behind them, painting stripes across the red dust. The glowing green from within was a beacon of life in an otherwise silent world. It was a powerful symbol. It said, "We are here. We have survived. We are growing." The contrast between the vibrant, living domes and the desolate, ancient landscape was breathtaking. It was a picture of defiance, of life finding a way in the most unlikely of places. This was humanity's grandest achievement. Beyond the bright domes, the colony sprawled outwards. This was the industrial zone. Here, the buildings were practical and tough. They were low, gray, and built to withstand the harsh Martian environment. These were the utility buildings, the power stations, the water reclamation plants, and the life support hubs. They were the unsung heroes of Ares Prime. They weren't pretty, but they kept everyone alive. Solar panels arranged in vast arrays tilted towards the sun like metallic sunflowers. They drank in every possible photon of light, converting it into the energy that powered the settlement. Landing pads were marked out on the flat ground. They were huge circles of reinforced concrete, scarred with the burns of countless arrivals and departures. A new spacecraft sat gleaming on the central pad. It was a beautiful ship, all shiny alloys and sleek lines. Its purpose was to bridge the vast emptiness between Mars and Earth. It had just arrived, bringing vital supplies and new faces to the colony. It stood tall and proud, a silver needle pointing to the sky. This ship was a lifeline. It was a physical connection to the world that had sent them here, a reminder that they were not alone. The entire area was a masterpiece of logistics. Cargo containers were stacked neatly near the landing pads, waiting to be unloaded. Fueling stations and maintenance bays stood ready for the next ship. Everything had a place, and everything was designed for efficiency. You had to be efficient on Mars. There was no room for waste. Every piece of equipment, every spare part, every drop of fuel was precious. The colonists moved with purpose, their actions guided by well-practiced procedures. This was an environment where a small mistake could have big consequences, so no one made small mistakes. The shadows cast by the utility buildings and the spacecraft were long and sharp in the thin atmosphere. They created a complex pattern of light and dark on the red ground. A fine layer of red dust coated everything, a constant reminder of where they were. The air was still, but you could almost feel the hum of activity. It was the quiet, powerful pulse of a machine working perfectly. This was the engine room of the colony. It was the place where science and engineering came together to defy the odds and sustain a human presence on another planet. The foreground was a scene of controlled, busy action. 2 rovers were parked near the newly arrived spacecraft. Their heavy-duty tires had left deep, clear tracks in the soft Martian dust, curving around equipment and cargo. These rovers were the workhorses of the colony. They were built for exploration, transport, and heavy lifting. One of the rovers had a robotic arm extended, its metallic fingers carefully gripping a large supply crate. The arm moved with a slow, deliberate grace, guided by an astronaut standing nearby. It was a dance between human and machine. Astronauts in stylish, modern suits moved around the rovers. The suits were white and orange, designed for both safety and mobility. They didn't look bulky or clumsy. They looked advanced. One astronaut was at a control panel on the side of the rover, her gloved fingers tapping on a screen. Another was directing a small, friendly-looking robot that was zipping around, scanning barcodes on the crates. The robot beeped and whirred, its digital eyes glowing blue. It was an assistant, a partner in the daily work of building a new world. The scene was full of small, realistic details. Floating dust motes caught the sunlight, sparkling in the air like tiny diamonds. A long shadow from one of the rover's communication antennas cut a sharp line across the ground. The astronauts worked together seamlessly, their movements efficient and practiced. They were unloading the precious cargo from Earth, scientific instruments, food packets, personal mail, and spare parts. Every box was another small victory, another piece of the puzzle that was Ari's prime. Their work was vital, and they performed it with a quiet focus. It was a perfect example of human ingenuity at work. Here, on a distant planet, people were not just surviving, they were building. They were using advanced tools to make their lives better and to push the boundaries of what was possible. The interaction between the astronauts and their robotic helpers was a glimpse into the future. They weren't just tools, they were teammates. Together, they were taming this wild red frontier. The scene sparked a sense of wonder. It was a powerful display of what humanity could achieve when it worked together with courage and intelligence. In the background, the true scale of Mars was on full display. The landscape was vast, ancient, and magnificent. Towering cliffs rose up in the distance, their layered rock telling a story billions of years old. Huge craters dotted the horizon, silent monuments to a violent cosmic past. The sheer size of these features was hard to comprehend. They made the colony, with all its impressive technology, look small. It was a humbling sight, a reminder that humanity was just a newcomer in this ancient land. The red and orange hues of the rock and sand stretched as far as the eye could see. To the west, the colossal shield of Olympus Mons dominated the skyline. It was the largest volcano in the solar system, a gentle giant rising so high that its peak was lost in the thin upper atmosphere. Even from hundreds of kilometers away, its immense scale was obvious. It was a silent watcher, a permanent feature of the Martian view. Its presence was a constant source of awe for the colonists. They were living in the shadow of a geological wonder that dwarfed anything on Earth. It was a daily reminder of the alien nature of their new home. And then, there was the view that never got old. Hanging in the dark sky above the horizon was a small bright jewel. It was a swirl of blue and white. It was Earth. From Mars it looked so small and fragile. It was a powerful sight that filled every colonist with a mix of emotions. It was a source of homesickness, but also a source of inspiration. That tiny blue dot was where they came from. It was the reason they were here. They were the children of Earth, carrying its legacy of curiosity and exploration to another world. The sun's light caught the edges of the distant cliffs, making them glow. The long shadows of the craters created a dramatic, high-contrast landscape. The scene was one of profound silence and stillness. There was no wind, no sound, just the vast, empty beauty of Mars. It was a landscape that invited exploration and promised discovery. This was humanity's next great frontier. The colony was just the first step. The real adventure was out there, waiting among the silent cliffs, the giant craters, and the towering peak of Olympus Mons. The journey had just begun.